Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the most up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. Let's get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are mixed this morning, with S&P futures up 0.11%, Dow futures down 0.07%, and NASDAQ futures up 0.38%. The markets have taken a downturn, rising back up again this morning as several major websites went offline. Multiple websites, including the New York Times and Amazon Web Services, were experiencing outages and have turned markets toward the red as traders have waited to gauge how far the outage would hit tech companies. The 10-year yield dropped back to 1.54%, and eyes now turn toward Thursday's consumer price data for clues as to how far the Feds can postpone tapering stimulus. Oil has extended losses amid concern that the recent rally had overextended. Etsy has dropped 2% in pre-market after saying it will privately place $1 billion of convertible senior notes due 2028. Tesla climbed 2.6% after posting 29% month-on-month growth in deliveries of China-made cars in May. Over in Europe, the Stock 600 gauge erased gains tracking U.S. futures. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
Shane, I've been following the S&Ps all morning long, and, they were lower. They were definitely, looking like we're going to have a weak opening. That was due to these websites really being knocked offline. But they've since come back. You're seeing them positive this morning. I'm seeing the S&Ps up 0.20%, which is, a good indication of a higher opening. I'm not sure that I think that will be able to carry through the entire day. I think the market is cautious. We have Thursday, we have a big report on it. We have the jobs numbers, and we have a big report on inflation coming out. The futures seem to be ripe for, a sell-off, but it's going to really take a catalyst event. And what was that catalyst event is going to come up that's going to create selling pressure? You don't really know. It could be, the Thursday inflation reading. Next Wednesday's FOMC statement is really what is causing the market to be in a tight trading range right now. I see, Europe is trading a little higher. That's a positive. I see that the White House is expecting to release its findings on its 100-day critical supply chain later today. And it's important to note that, those multiple websites being offline could be a real weakness in some of the tech stocks this morning.
Well, moving into earnings to watch today, looks like Coupa did well on earnings, but they're still down in pre-market. Bill, why don't you tell us about it?
Coupa did well in terms of the EPS. They beat by 26 cents on higher revenue, but their forward guidance was a little bit weak. And they're thinking of a loss of 20 cents, whereas in the consensus is at 25 cents. So that's okay. But it really wasn't as great as a report as you think. And that's why the stock is down 9% this morning. You look at Marvel, this is a real interesting one, ticker MRVL. They beat by 2 cents on higher revenue, and they're really going to see a turnaround in the second quarter. They're expecting their revenues to really accelerate in the second half of this year. Stitch Fix, this is ticker SFIX, Sam Frank India X-ray. They beat by 11 cents on higher revenue, and they guided higher. They delivered a nice guidance number. Mountain, which is Vail Mountain, ticker MTN, Michael Tom Nancy, they beat by 25 cents on higher revenue. Guidance looks okay. This, very light volume in the aftermarket for Vail Mountain yesterday. MoMA came out early this morning. They beat by 7 cents on lower revenue, and they see the second quarter revenue actually declining a bit. So that's not a good sign for MoMA, ticker MOMO, Michael Oscar. Navistar, they came in with a beat of 91 cents. There's only a couple estimates, so it's really hard to compare it to anything, but it was a nice beat for Navistar, it looks like.
How about insights as far as upcoming earnings announcements?
I don't have anything for today, but for tomorrow we have Lovesac, which is ticker LOVE, Larry Oscar Victor Edward. The EPS is expecting a 58 cents loss, but you're looking for a percentage move of 15%. That's pretty nice. Campbell Soup, on the other hand, that's ticker CPB, Charlie Paul Boy. Their EPS estimate is 65 cents. And you're looking for a 4% move here. Vera Bradley, that's ticker VRA, Victor Richard Apple. Their EPS estimate is 19 cents, and you're looking for a 14% move here. In Lakeland Industries, this is ticker LAKE. They make the hazmat suits. Their expected EPS is 53 cents. Your expected move is 11.29%. We'll see if this was a real true pandemic stock. We'll see if they'll be able to continue their revenue growth. They did pretty well last quarter. So, keeping your fingers crossed that momentum is going to be able to be sustainable.
Moving into our economic reports, Bill, tell us what we're seeing for reports today.
At 8:30, we have the international trade in goods and services. That's going to be a key one today. At 8:55, we have the Red Book on retail sales. And at 10 a.m., we have the JOLTS report coming out.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on Becton Dickinson, ticker BDX. The company received pandemic orders for needles and syringes totaling 2 billion injection devices to support global COVID-19 vaccination efforts in over 40 countries. BDX share price is down 0.32% in pre-market. In other news, tech company Fastly, ticker FSLY, has dropped 3% in pre-market after confirming outage on status website. In other news, Southwest, ticker LUV, currently expects August 2021 capacity to increase 39% year over year, making it comparable with August 2019. In other news, Apple, ticker AAPL. Apple is in preliminary discussions with China-based contemporary Amperex Technology and BYD for the supply of batteries to be installed on its yet-to-be-unveiled electric self-driving car. Apple is seeking manufacturers of lithium iron phosphate batteries, which are cheaper to produce. Those batteries will power the passenger vehicle, which is expected to go into production in 2024. Apple is requiring potential battery suppliers to establish manufacturing operations in the U.S. CATL, which is one of the biggest lithium automotive battery producers in the world, however, has expressed reluctance due to the ongoing political rift between the U.S. and China. Apple's share price is up 0.64% in pre-market. News on Wendy's, ticker WEN. Wendy's has gained in pre-market by 5% after being mentioned by Reddit's Wall Street Bets, entering the top 5 most mentioned names on their site. In other news, Bridgetown 2 Holdings, ticker BTNB, is in advanced talks to merge with Singapore's online real estate firm Property Guru. The combined companies would have a value of as high as $2 billion, and a deal could be reached by as early as next month. BTNB's share price is up 2.58% in pre-market. News on KKR, ticker KKR. The subsidiary of the company Independence Energy and Contango Oil and Gas, ticker MCF, are close to reaching a merger deal that could create a new publicly listed company valued at $5.5 billion. KKR share price is up 1.22% in pre-market, while Contango share price is up 9.07% in pre-market. News on BlackBerry, ticker BB, and Bytech. The companies have teamed up to build a digital LCD instrument cluster for Chang'an's newly launched Uni K SUV. BlackBerry is up 2.85% in pre-market. News on Boeing, ticker BA. Southwest Airlines has ordered 34 more 737 MAX aircrafts from Boeing to receive it in 2022. Boeing share price is up 1.36% in pre-market. Lastly, for me, one on Amazon, ticker AMZN. The company will be reportedly spending $3.04 billion on new data centers in Spain through its cloud computing division, Amazon Web Services. The amount is expected to be spent over a period of 10 years on capital expenditure, building new data centers, importing equipment, and operating expenses. Amazon share price is up 0.58% in pre-market. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Shane, I break my news alerts down into specific sectors. I'm looking for industry sectors such as oil and semiconductors. I'm looking at typical events such as shareholder meetings and conference calls as well as earnings. And, and the fact that NewsWord does this for me, it really just allows me to hit the trigger that much quicker. I'm looking at my FANG alert this morning, and, Apple's all over it. I mean, that developers conference that they started yesterday was a big shot in the arm to them. I mean, what are they saying? They're coming out and they're saying, hey, Facebook is going to, their FaceTime application at Apple, that's going to now start to compete with, Zoom and Teams type applications. They said that the Apple weekly users grew from 600 million across 175 countries. They announced Apple Health, identifying, measuring, and understanding changes in the user's health. They're talking about record sharing with healthcare companies and a universal remote to control multiple Apple devices placed next to one another. So it's a real positive for Apple. They have a lot of good stories that they came out with on their development front. Twitter, and this is really more of a social media type story. Ahead of it, it has to deal with Russia, because ahead of their elections in Russia, the Kremlin has just fine-tuned its strategy to put pressure on platforms such as Twitter and YouTube and TikTok to remove any anti-government content. They're classifying a growing number of posts as illegal issues or a flurry, and they're delivering a flurry of takedown requests. They didn't do so much with the U.S. elections, but for their own backyard, they're very strong on those takedown requests. Looking at my Dow Jones 30 alert, here's a key one. Johnson & Johnson, that they have this opioid trial that is really starting today, because that's when jury selection is starting in New York today. It's not going to be, it could really weigh on the shares of Johnson & Johnson. Walmart, that's ticker WMT, William Michael Tom, they're introducing a prescription savings program called Walmart Plus RX for Less. I see Merck, ticker MRK, they did a small deal where they purchased the assets of an animal health care company. In terms of, option data, you look at this, something like Churchill Capital Corp, that's ticker CCIV, the call put ratio is 6.7 calls to every one put. You look at Clover Health Investments, that's ticker CLOV, Charlie, Larry, Oscar, Victor. You have a call put ratio of 9.4 calls to every one put. TAL Education, that's ticker TAL. The 30-day option implied volatility is really at the high end range, so it could be some sellers coming in the near term. In terms of events that we're seeing today, TJ Maxx, that's ticker TJX companies. At 8 a.m., they're going to be starting their annual shareholders meeting. Palantir, that's ticker PLTR. At 10 a.m., they're going to be having their annual shareholders meeting. Urban Outfitters, that's ticker URBN, under Richard Boy Nancy. At 10:30, they're going to be having their shareholders meeting. Workday, their annual shareholders meeting starts at noon. Ticker FCX, Frank Charlie X-Ray, that's Freeport McMoran. Their annual shareholders meeting starts at 1. And here's an interesting one, Zillow. 5 p.m. today, Eastern time. Zillow, ticker Z as in Zillow. They're going to be having their annual shareholders meeting today. A couple of catalyst calls that I noticed. Deutsche Bank came out with a catalyst call on SAIA, Sam Apple, India Apple. They're coming out and they're putting a buy call on it and saying that the recent sell-off was a really nice and rare buying opportunity. And Marvel, MRVL, they released good earnings this morning. They came out and they put a buy call in the stock because they expect the stock to outperform the group in the second half of 2021, following the first half underperformance, which was mainly due to supply constraints. So, they're really looking for Marvel, ticker MRVL, to start moving higher in the second half of this year. So they put a 90-day catalyst watch out on ticker MRVL.
Well, moving into our Trade Talk picks for today, I'm picking Apple, ticker AAPL, one that I spoke about earlier. The prospect of them searching for this next step on how to make their electric vehicle and get that pushed forward, it's pretty positive news. I mean, they've been having positive news all week long and in the last few days, and it's just continuing today. And so there's excitement going into that, into them making this future vehicle for use in just a couple years. So this is something that's definitely going to be positive for them that I can see taking them higher. They're only up 0.64%. So I see no reason why it can't keep moving higher today. So that's my pick. What's yours looking like, Bill?
Well, my pick today is going to be Play, ticker PLAY, Paul, Larry, Apple, Yellow. This is Dave & Buster's, the restaurant chain. And entertainment, locations. Their earnings are due out Thursday after the close. Now, the stock is priced for a 9.7% move, which is a little over $4. Now, if you do the research and you look at Play, you look at the broker recommendations on Play, they're all the brokers are raising their price targets on the stock. That's a positive. You look at you read the company's earning, filter the news by earnings, and one of the things that will come up is a story on April 20th on how the company increased its revenue guidance for the quarter. So this is all positive information. Now, I'm going to be watching these call put ratios, but I do expect Play, ticker PLAY, which is Dave & Buster's, to trade higher today and tomorrow into earnings. So my pick today is Play, PLAY.
Moving into what's hot off the press, this is the news that's hitting the tape as we speak, that they'll be moving the stocks today. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, Bill, seeing our newswire alerts come in, which are the ones we should be letting traders know about?
Jacobs, that's Jacobs Engineering, ticker J as in John. They were selected by Health Infrastructure for a $582 million redevelopment project.
Update on Wendy's, ticker WEN. We said they were up 5%. They're up 19% now in pre-open after their mention on Reddit.
Ticker NOK, Nancy Oscar Kilo, Nokia, Qualcomm, and US Cellular announced extended range of their 5G record over Wave. Ticker LUV, Love, which is Southwest Airlines, says May revenues at the high end of guidance. Ticker ASO, Apple, Sam Oscar, Academy Sports, they boosted demand and they're seeing the stock moving higher. Philip Morris at ticker PM, Paul Michael, they reaffirmed their Q2 and full year 21 outlook.
Palantir, ticker PLTR, has signed a 1-year $7.4 million contract renewal with the CDC for disease monitoring and outbreak response.
VRTX, Victor, Richard, Tom, X-Ray, they got a PDUFA date today. Ticker GLSI, Grace, Larry, Sam, India. They're set to join the Russell 2000, the Russell 3000 indices on June 28.
Update on Fastly, ticker FSLY. Their servers are getting back online, so they're back on network soon. Thor Industries, ticker THO. They're rising in pre-market following upbeat results for earnings.
Ticker Jill, John, India, Larry. They swing to a first quarter profit as revenue rises.
Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm seeing.
Same here. So that'll do it for what's hot off the press. Traders, keep in mind you can receive the same breaking stories we do simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out for a free trial today. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Monday. I had Visa, ticker V, which opened at $232.85, closed at $231.32 for a 0.65% loss. Not too crazy, but just not an up day. Kind of started high, ended up lower. But overall, mostly flat considering it hadn't even moved a point. Could have done better. How'd yours end up doing, Bill?
I did MTN, Michael, Tom, Nancy, which is Vail Resorts. Now, these guys topped estimates yesterday by 25 cents on good revenue. It shows you that the resorts are coming back. But the action in the postmark was very soft, very, very low volume. Yesterday, the stock opened at 333.39. It did hit a high of 334.80, beating the dollar gain we were kind of hoping for, but I was expecting more. Closed at 334.27, still positive above the opening price. In the pre-market, the stock did, there was no sellers, so the spread was really wide and it just was essentially flat. We're looking at the pre-market, it's down 0.68% today, but I think when the market opens up, you're going to see more action and more volatility in MTN today. But it was just okay. But
well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. But traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.